Oh, bugger.
Hey guys, welcome back. We're very happy to see you back. Sorry we're starting just a few minutes late. We had some little technical issues, but we're back at it. So welcome to Monday Night Mythbusters. I'm Dr. Carolyn George and Leslie Harrington.
Hey guys.
The transformational coach extraordinaire. If you like what you're seeing here tonight, then please go ahead and check out my YouTube channel. That's where all of the other Facebook Lives will be, or you can just go to my webpage or my Facebook page, and we've got all of the links there that you'll need. My webpage is Carolyn George MD carolyngeorgemd.com. So that being said, tonight we're talking about skincare products. We had such a good response from talking about the toxins in our environment last week that we decided to do a little add-on and really dive a little deeper into skincare products. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to shout them out, put them in the comments section, and we'll try to get to them as much as possible. So hi Sally and Brian and Ellen.
And Kristen's in there.
Kristen, awesome.
Hi guys.
Love to have everybody checking in. So some of the toxins that we wanted to talk about tonight are key ones that we don't even know that we're putting on our skin. And the thing to remember with everything you put on your skin, it is your largest organ, and it is a great way to give medicine to you, right? We use it in the ER world and throughout the medical world to dose by putting on creams and lotions. It gets soaked in and it works very well. So testosterone, estrogen, even pain relief medicines. There's a variety of medicines that we use topically because they are absorbed so well. Mm-hmm. So just remember that any cream or lotion, toothpaste, shampoo, whatever you're using, you're actually absorbing at least some of that. And so you want to make sure that it's got healthy things in it and that you don't use products that we're finding out are dangerous.
Yes, and didn't they say if you can't eat it, you wouldn't eat it? Don't put it on your skin.
Don't put it on your skin.
We won't go that far.
Exactly.
But yeah, just being mindful that this is absorbing into your bloodstream, and it's actually bypassing the digestive tract. It's going right into your bloodstream. So it is your largest organ. So you're still exposing yourself to a lot more than we realize. When you consider that we talked about last week, many women, it's something like 21, 22 chemicals that they put in their daily regimen.
Mm-hmm. Before they walk out the door in the morning.
Yeah. So
quite a few.
Women, I guess, probably more culprit than men, but something to be mindful of all around.
And it's pervasive. So even if we're not putting it on us, it's actually, there's a lot of these chemicals that are in our water supply. And are just kind of in our environment. So they've actually found that when they look at cord blood of babies that are just being birthed, right? They haven't even been out in the world yet. When they look at that cord blood, there's at least 217 different chemicals that they can find that are not in nature.
These are neurotoxic,
hormone toxic, brain toxic. There's a variety of different chemicals.
Yeah, so the transfer is
evident. It's out there, right? So they're getting through us as women and then getting into our babies even before they're born. So the more that we can have healthy, I don't know if that's the right word, but less toxic chemicals out there, the better it's going to be for everybody.
Yeah. So there are some questions coming in, and Brian's asking, do you have any suggestions on how to convince someone to use organic, healthy versus traditional product? I think some of what you'll hear tonight is going to be helpful to share the information. And there will be some convincing things in this conversation. Kristen asked about coconut oil as a natural topical.
That's great, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of benefits to coconut, not just to coconut oil, not just to your skin, but some antibacterial properties. There's things in that would be naturally good for you. Mm-hmm. I know in particular some people have sensitivities to certain things that you would still feel. I have a sensitivity to lemon. Mm-hmm. A lot of things have lemon in it. I have to be very careful what I put on my skin because of that. So those are things to also be aware of, is just because it's good or healthy and it's something you could eat or whatever, right. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to be right for your skin. So it's going to be a little bit of a process of elimination, and it's going to be part of just personalized to you.
Right. And in terms of trying to convince somebody to do anything, really, all you can do is present them some good information. And if they are making a decision based on logic, then you're going to get someplace. If they're making a decision based on emotion, which is what most of us decide on, then that doesn't always work. So sometimes it has to do with how they were raised or what they think is, healthy or good or normal. So sometimes you'll win with logic, but a lot of the times you won't. So just doing what you need to do for you is really the key thing. And hopefully they'll start to realize it as the rest of the population
and it's an
starts to
example
come along.
at that point. And I think it takes a very long time for society to start trending in different ways when they learn new information. We're very much stuck in history, and we're stuck. If we were to use like the old cell phones from 40 years ago, we wouldn't be like able to function or communicate. And so many people are relying on information that is from 40 years ago. Yeah. And there's new technology, there's new research. There's actually old research that has become more clear as to maybe it wasn't such bad research. It was not what they said it was. So there's a lot of things that evolve, and then we're kind of people, there's a gap between the time that it's revealed and the time people adopt to it.
Sure.
So understand that you're in that gap, and the only thing you can really do is worry about focusing on, like you said, yourself, and then hoping that you influence others and can be an example.
Right, and that's going to be the key thing. So we wanted to concentrate on 4 different chemicals, and we'll talk about some others if you guys throw them out there that you want to talk about.
Yeah, and Lisa's mentioning makeup. We'll definitely get into
we're definitely going to get into makeup, Lisa. So phthalates, parabens, triclosan, and formaldehyde were the 4 that we thought we were going to really focus on tonight, and why they're something that you don't want to have in your makeup bag, right? So
and not just makeup, gentlemen. There's actually things in here that you're going to find are going to be in any skincare product. We're talking about toothpaste. We're talking about aluminum.
Shampoo.
We're talking about deodorant, shampoos,
aftershave,
body washes. All types of things that are going to be involved. So definitely no rule outs when it comes to products.
Exactly. So parabens are one of the key ones. It's used as an antifungal in a lot of makeup. I just about said medication, and it's a preservative, so it's antimicrobial. So you don't want your makeup to start growing things, which is understandable. So they put these things in, but then we found out that it can irritate the skin. There may be a connection with breast cancer. It's not proven, but there's some suspicion. It has already been banned in Europe and in Japan. And so you want to really kind of watch for products that carry this. So these are going to be your mascara, your makeup remover, your shaving gel, your shampoo, toothpaste, deodorant, a variety of creams and lotions, and ointments, because it's a smoothing agent so that it can spread nicely.
Yeah, and you'll see a lot of the products that are more modern, or the other thing I want to make clear before, because this I think is a big distinguishing. When I first got the EWG.org app, I went and scanned everything in Publix and everything in Whole Foods, and because it's sold in Whole Foods, do not assume that it is a good product.
Right.
So there are a ton of products in Whole Foods, including Jason's, that did not rate very well at all. So you will see a lot paraben-free, phthalate-free. You're going to see these because these are the 2 most predominant, I think, that are heaviest in in your regular skincare products. But
exactly. So the other things that parabens do is they mimic estrogens. So we don't want to mimic estrogen. We've got plenty of that going around, and we've got BPA, which we talked about last week. So we've got a lot of estrogen-mimicking chemicals, and parabens are one of those. So in a recent Journal of Applied Toxicology, they took some breast tissue from subjects exposed to parabens, and the concentrations of the parabens were really high in that breast tissue. And there's some other studies that are starting to link higher levels of parabens with a bigger likelihood of developing breast cancer. So it's not a for sure thing. You got to watch the research, but it's enough that I think if we can find other ways of having that antimicrobial makeup and getting it to kind of apply smoothly, that we need to look for other alternatives.
Yeah, and that's just evidence that it's actually absorbing into the cellular level.
Definitely,
so it's getting into the tissue, and it's actually if it's going that deep, it's impacting you most definitely.
Right. It's something that is different, that is not native to your body, right? So you want to look at that. So that's parabens. Now phthalates, and that's spelled with a PH. There we go, we lost that. So phthalates have been related to some birth defects, and they're found in a variety of different things, such as vinyl flooring, children's backpacks and building materials, but a lot of personal care materials. So your toothpaste, fragrances and perfumes. Almost all fragrances are a phthalate, and a lot of people are allergic to that, so it can really trigger reactions in a lot of people.
And interesting to note with fragrances too is fragrance is kind of an umbrella term. Mm-hmm. Each manufacturer can put anything they want under that umbrella. Mm-hmm. So you could have a fragrance that is simply an essential oil, or you can have a fragrance that has 30 ingredients.
Yeah.
So within the word fragrance, if you were to just go through and take everything and go fragrance free, you're changing your risk dramatically just through that process. And fragrance free doesn't mean stinky or bland or whatever. Right, you can, you know, there's essential oils, there's natural fragrances that are actually going to be safer to use.
So you can take fragrances from flowers, for example, and that would be natural. That's not lemon, a phthalate.
Yeah, citrus.
Right, but phthalates, and they use them in foods too to kind of give fragrances smells, because much of our taste has to do with our smell. So we're talking about makeup and personal care items right now, but you're looking for phthalates throughout kind of your universe, so look for it all over the place. Let's see what other things. The makeup for sure has a lot of these phthalates in them. So looking at your makeup, and it will say parabens and phthalates, so methylparaben or something, you'll see that little portion of the word paraben, and if you're seeing that, then leave it behind, don't buy it. It has been linked to some kinds of cancers, some birth defects, and some thyroid issues. So if you have
Hashimoto's,
and with our just increasing incidence of Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune disease of the thyroid, which we don't really understand why we're getting such a huge surge in cases of this, but it probably is related to some of these chemicals. Who knows which one? But we're seeing the phthalates looks like related to thyroid. Yeah. Okay. So that's your parabens and your phthalates. Now, how do you find out? Again, going to that EWG. You can see we're groupies of EWG, environmentalworkinggroup.org, and looking at that Skin Deep. They've got a whole bunch of pages there, which are all devoted to these skincare and personal care products. So just checking there, that's your best place. Okay, I don't have an exhaustive list, but they do, and they check these things regularly, and they will tell you if not only within certain brands, but within that brand, they're going to tell you their particular items in each particular personal care item.
Yeah, and if you look at the ingredients on most of these products, it's very overwhelming, because it's not even like food ingredients. I'm talking like
you don't even
list
recognize
and list and list that you can't pronounce. You have no idea what you're looking at. So it is overwhelming. So if you focus on these kind of big red flags, this is a great place to start using your scan item.
Right.
You know, these are like the kind of simplest way to kind of just start to get yourself a little bit more acclimated to using more natural type of products and protecting yourself a little bit. But don't enmesh yourself in every ingredient and try it. It'll just be overwhelming.
Right.
It really will. The beauty count, you know, when you talk about makeup, and we'll get into that a little bit, that they have a list of like kind of the hot in makeup, the list of ingredients you want to look for.
Right.
So specific to makeup.
Right. And so there's several makeup brands now that are making a point of removing these things. So you do pay a little bit more. They're going to be a little bit pricier, but you're not getting those potential toxins into your system. And so in my world, that's worth it. But it gets totally overwhelming to just take your whole makeup bag and throw it all out, right? So as you finish using something, it's empty, you need to replace it, then look for a version that's healthier. So don't do it all at once. You'll spend hundreds of dollars doing that, but just pick it bit at a time. So a lip gloss is good, or a lipstick, your mascara, your creams, hand creams, your face creams, little by little. Just choose one thing, get a better version of that, use it for a while. If something else finishes, toss that out. Get yourself a different kind of a toothpaste, or a different kind of a shampoo or sunscreen. Little by little is the key.
Yeah, and the things that you use every day.
Yes.
So you might be able to pull out, pick 2 or 3 items in a month and say, I'm going to focus on these this month, and try not to do, like you said, swooping everything off and starting fresh.
Oh, that's so frustrating and overwhelming.
Yeah, you want to do something that's sustainable, that you're going to be like not throwing the towel. So little things make big differences.
Right, and try different products. Like, for example, antiperspirants, deodorants. I had to try several before I found one that worked well for me.
Yes.
So it can be a process. It wasn't like I just chose one and it worked as well as the...
Yeah, toothpaste is the same way.
Yeah.
Toothpaste, deodorants, your body needs to adjust. You need to adjust, like the antiperspirant part of it. Yeah, there's a lot. But like hand soaps and things that you're still going to get, your hands are clean when you're doing, you're choosing a good hand soap. How many times a day are you washing your hands? Probably pretty frequently. That would be a big low-hanging fruit.
That would move the needle a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So you're doing that. So that's your parabens and your phthalates. Now another one is still having to do with makeup. Formaldehyde, makeup and hair products, formaldehyde. So this is in a lot of nail polishes and is anytime if you do a Brazilian or you do a keratin treatment to your hair, it could be in that.
And hair dyes.
And in hair dyes, the formaldehydes. And so formaldehyde, we are very clear about that. That is really understood that it's not healthy for us to inhale it, to wear it, to soak it up. So you want to stay away from that. And some of the Brazilian treatments say no formaldehyde, but they actually have another chemical in it that when heated becomes formaldehyde. Yeah, with the fumes. So you want to obviously avoid that. Sorry, ladies with the frizzy hair. I know. I used to love to do it, and then when I found out what happened, I still have frizzy hair because I'm not going to do that to myself. But in South Florida, you'll get frizzy hair without those keratin treatments. So it's just one of the things you have to decide what you want to live with.
Yeah, and again, we talk a lot about it's all the things that you're doing. So if you're contributing to your, like you're doing everything right, you have your keratin treatment. You have your keratin treatment. You do everything else more right. Like it's all a balance, and it's just trying to find the things that are big needle movers, but small changes that make a big difference.
Yeah. The other thing that has a lot of formaldehyde I mentioned at the beginning was nail polish. And a lot of people use nail polish on their fingers and on their toes, and it stays on for a long time. So it has great potential to leach into your system. So look for nail polishes when you're going to the salon. Make sure that they're using the quality nail polish that does not have the formaldehyde. The other things that it can have in it were the toluene and the dibutyl phthalate. So toluene and dibutyl phthalate. So again, a pH word. So we don't want those phthalates. So there's brands, you can look them up, that don't carry those things.
Yeah.
Okay? And there are brands that are available at your salons that don't have those.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you want to throw out some names or ask for names, we can give them to you. But I don't want to promote any particular brand because there's a lot of good ones out there.
I think the other thing that a lot of people don't know about, it's been since 2016 that they made the announcement, but the triclosan, that you'll start seeing now on the antibacterial hand sanitizers that they'll say triclosan-free.
Mm-hmm.
There's several chemicals in there that were actually, in 2016, not just triclosan, but 18 other chemicals were actually banned.
18 total, I think, instead of triclosan and 17 others.
And so they were banned in 2016 from the antibacterials. They were all part of an antibacterial family. So you'll see, in hospitals and whatever, those formulas have all had to change because of these particular ingredients, which is great because you're gonna not have to worry about looking for it to pull them out of your world, but now they're gonna be more safe in a sense, but you're still gonna be wanting to look for these other chemicals.
Right, well, and because the triclosan is banned in hand washing or hand sanitizing chemicals, but it doesn't mean that they're banned from all things. It hasn't been banned completely from our environment, so you still want to watch out for the triclosan and other things. So wet wipes and things like that might have it in it. So just watching for those as well.
And that's not eliminating their potential to damage the microbiome still, right? There's still going to be enough antibacterial properties in there that are still going to be, you don't want to be germophobic, right?
Right. We want to keep our microbiome. Remember, when you think bacteria, most people think bad. They think negative. We want to stay away from them. But we really are only 10% human. We're 90% bacteria. And when we kill those good bacteria, we actually damage us. So when you're using the triclosan and doing other things that are antibacterial, that really affects your own microbiome negatively. So you want to avoid anything that might kill off our little friends.
Yeah, we need to start embracing bacteria because we're more bacteria than we are human cells. So it's to look at it that way is kind of like head scratching, but having that understanding that they're meant to thrive together, the good, the bad, they all have a purpose. And we want to have an environment where we're heavily populated with both in all, right? All species. So
right. Nice diverse microbiome.
Yeah.
So kind of getting back to one of the questions at the beginning about coconut oil. So we wanted to give you some ideas about how you can do some of your own creams and lotions. And online there's all kinds of different makeups that you can do too. So but that coconut oil is a good base for a lot of different things, especially hand creams. You can use that even just by itself, just on your hands, and moisten your arms and use it as a moisturizing cream. So coconut oil has got a lot of good uses. It is useful also when you're kind of mixing eyeshadows and things like that. Some of these
oils too.
Yeah, do-it-yourself makeup will have that in it. What was the one website we saw? Big Mama?
No.
Yeah.
Shoot, it's not Big Mama.
Anyways.
Go ahead, I'll remember.
Yeah, if you Google DIY makeup, there are several different...
DIY makeup, and she's great. Wellness Mama. Wellness Mama.
Yeah.
She comes up with some really cool formulas, but there's so many DIY. There's videos on YouTube. I get my deodorant from a local girl who started her own little company, a little local company. So really, I personally don't make my own. It might be easier for me. I'm a little lazy like that.
I'm a little too busy.
I'll go buy it.
I buy mine, yeah.
Yeah, but there's so many options now. Like, a couple years ago, if you went to look for a natural deodorant or toothpaste, you weren't going to find it. I mean, it was going to be, you'd have to go to one of those specialty, green shops or whatnot.
Right.
So they're everywhere, and they're even popping up in our local grocery stores. In our area, which is Publix, has a little organic section now with skincare, their own little corner. And we're going to start seeing that grow, because even in the pharmacy world, they're starting to see essential oils pop up and natural supplements. They're starting to private label. The bigger companies are starting to catch on to this is where the wellness world is going, and that's what they're trying to follow.
But just because they have the brand doesn't mean it's all good. So always read the label. Always, always, always.
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
Yes. You're seeing some of these big brands are buying up some of these organic companies as well, making them deals they can't refuse, because I know these people come out with these private companies with huge intentions to better the world and do these great things, and then they come in and they get bought out by these big companies, and they're promised that their model won't change and things like that. And when you see Nestle getting into the supplement world, you want to just be aware of what's going on and how are those products going to change, because they will likely change. But all of these big companies, if you Google most of the organics that are out there, they're almost probably, my guess, this is not a statistic, would be at least 80% of them are owned by Nabisco and, some of these big companies that you would just never believe were involved in organics at all.
Yeah, exactly.
So I digress.
Right. So just buyer beware, as in all things. And the fact that you're really voting with your dollar says a lot. And that's why a lot of these companies are going to these more natural products, because they know that that's where the money is. And people are willing to pay a little bit more to have a little bit healthier product, as long as they keep that product as healthy as it was when it started.
So Michelle says she's having trouble finding the natural deodorant. And I found this too with some people. People get rashes and things, and sometimes they're not used to the baking soda or whatever the base is. Mine is arrowroot powder. I don't have any problem with it. But some of them, there was one that I loved. It worked really well, and the antiperspirant was good. I didn't sweat a lot, and it smelled good and everything, but it gave me irritation. So sometimes that's because you have to let the heat of your skin kind of soften it, because we put it on, it's very abrasive. Sometimes it's just whatever the base is. So that's where the experimentation has to come in. I don't think it's necessarily a natural versus the traditional. It has to do probably with the particular one that you're trying.
So try a few, get small amounts of them, and then try them for a few days just to see kind of how you work with it. But you want to get the little sample size if you can, or see if they offer any samples, or at least the smallest version of whatever it is that they've got, so that you can see what works for you.
I've had good luck with a company called Kiss My Face. It was also rated well on the EWG. There's another one that's out that I did get the rash from, but other people swear by. I want to say it was like Snyder's.
Yeah, Snyder's is going.
There's Primal Pit Paste.
Pit paste,
which is
I like, but not everybody likes.
Yeah, so there's so many on the shelf right now. But again, use your scanner.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot that are aluminum free that still have some other junk in it that you just don't want. So you're better off.
And you do definitely, this is a side note, you do want to avoid the aluminum in your antiperspirant deodorants.
Yeah, and the deal with the aluminum is that your lymphatic system flows up. So everything is coming out. When you're sweating, primarily your lymph glands are under your arms. So that's where you're kind of part of your detox process is happening. So when you're putting on that antiperspirant, you're basically kind of clogging up that process of elimination of the sweat glands and things. So if you can go without aluminum as often as possible, you want to think about that. But again, it's the big picture. It's not one of the top 10, so the phthalates and the parabens might be bigger needle movers, but it's something that you can say, well, I wear good deodorant, so, my toothpaste might, have less fluoride or
whatnot. Yeah, so always just finding the balance, finding whatever works for you. Okay, if anybody else has any questions, feel free to put them in comments, and we'll try to get to them afterwards. And we look forward to seeing you next week. I can't recall what our topic is next week, but we'll let you know in the next couple of days.
Or if you have an idea.
Yeah, if you have any ideas, then shoot us your idea.
Any requests, we slip right in whatever we have planned. Right. And this week we wanted to kind of piggyback off last week because we had a lot of good feedback and kind of get the whole kit and caboodle out of the way there. So
right. So if you have anything that you're interested in for the upcoming summer, just shoot us a line, and we are happy to talk about it. We can talk about almost anything, I think.
Yeah, this is fun.
Find some fun. Anyways, thank you guys. Thanks so much for your support. Please feel free to share this with friends if you find that it's useful, and just check Facebook for your next week's topic. Okay, thanks again.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Have a good night now.